Hi everyone and welcome to another class with Buff Browz. Today we are exploring lamination paired with a stain. However, this technique of staining is slightly different and this is a messy stain. We are always going to start with prep and I'm going straight in with polish. And I'm going to really work on exfoliating the skin to lift any dead skin cells, which is so important, particularly when you are doing anything that involves a stain or skin grab. To remove any excess grains from the skin, I do Buff Purify into the skin, and this is just going to remove any form of makeup, impurities and any leftover polish. And then just to finish off preparing the skin, I'm using Detox, which is a saline solution, and this is going to completely detoxify the skin. So I'm going in with step 1 from our Cysteamine system, and I am applying the product directly to the hair. As soon as I start working the product through the hairs, I start my timer, and I always have a separate timer for each eyebrow. So to speed up the processing slightly and to get those hairs lying flat to the skin, I'm going to apply the wrap. So I've just removed that wrap and I am starting to move those hairs into their desired shape and structure. And what we want to see from the hair is total flexibility. We want to see that the hair is completely relaxed. So remove step 1 with a cotton pad and go straight in with step 2. Do ensure that you have brushed the brows into the desired shape and structure. So for this client today, we are opting for a dye alongside her lamination. She could pull off many different looks and finishes. She could go for that really lovely naked lamy result. She could go for a stain on its own for that really sleek finish. But today we are restructuring the shape of the brows alongside implanting some colour. Most of the time with a stain, you are going to see artists use a very precision technique. Now, this is probably the ideal technique to work with. However, this client wasn't necessarily looking for a really bold statement brow and that really sleek. She just was looking for a bit more colour than what she has and for a slight grab. So I didn't quite want the finish of a really sleek stain, but I also didn't want that subtle finish of colour with a tint. So I'm going to be using a stain, but using the application that I would typically use to apply a tint. And this is going to penetrate colour into the hair at a rapid rate, whilst also providing a fairly subtle but long-term skin grab. So there are many different techniques that we can use to map the brows prior to shaping. I think it's really important that you do your research and find a technique that works best for you. I use many different techniques depending on the brows that I'm working with. With this client, I've used a head ruler and I have used my typical markings at 5.5 and 7. 5.5 being for the arch and 7 for the very end of the tail. And I am now using string to carry out the rest of my markings. So prior to waxing, I'm going to apply Skin Shield to the skin to create a barrier between the skin and the wax. Now, this client is a client who does suffer with mild hives. She does tend to come up with some irritation, so I do always ensure that I use Skin Shield. We are working on a product called Brow Calm, and this is a medical grade product which is going to really help to minimize any irritation. giving the area a little clean with some hydrogel, which is a really lovely aloe vera gel. I'm just lifting off any excess product. You can see that her skin is a little bit hivey already. If you do experience hive with your clients, you can suggest an antihistamine, but it usually settles very, very quickly. Heavenly Balm, which is one of my most favourite products from Buff Browz, and this is going to seriously hydrate those eyebrows and those hairs and help to soothe that skin. So to just help to disguise and diminish that redness, I've applied Camo to the skin, which is our redness neutralizer. And that does appear green when it's first applied to the skin, but as soon as you start buffing it in, it does match the skin's natural tone. This probably isn't the best brush to use. We are working on 2 new brushes, but it's a really lovely product to help you to kind of like get that really lovely Instagram finish, but to also stop the skin from looking so scary when your client first looks in the mirror, because it can be a little bit intimidating.